Anthony looks weird.
He got better looking and dumber.
He got all these tattoos.
I know. And I'm fucking girls over 4.
That is weird. That must be an adjustment.
Wow, where do we begin with you? I saw you at Madison Square Garden. That's where I want to start.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was great. That was a great experience. I love doing that.
Right.
I love that I got to do it a few times because then I got to feel like I was, learning how to do the garden.
Did you cancel the 4th show? It was the weather, right?
Yeah, there was a hurricane. I mean, not a hurricane. It was a blizzard, right?
Blizzard was coming to town.
Yeah, it didn't come, but fuck it. You got to... It's a huge vig on that room.
Right.
The rent is enormous.
Oh, okay.
So it was a gamble. If I kept the show on and then nobody came, I literally would have wiped out any profit I made.
All your profits
from the first 3 shows.
But how is it? Just walking out there. I mean, there's nothing. There's barely a screen.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing about it. Like when I've been to the Garden, it's been to watch a concert. I saw AC/DC at the Garden.
Right, and they got everything else going on to kind of help the experience.
Yeah, they have cannons, literally fucking gunfire.
Right.
And also a concert is a hang. People are walking around with drinks and they're talking and they're dancing or whatever.
To miss a song or two to socialize a bit.
That's right. But then the stand-up show, they're all just sitting in chairs looking forward, and there's 15,000 of them, and they're literally politely quieting down. Right. So it's a lot. It's a big, huge.
Are they seeing people behind you?
Or? You know what? The first show, we sold out so fast, and then the second show, we opened up a little more on the sides. But I found myself struggling to go look at those people.
Right.
And if you look at those people, that's like literally 1,000 people. And to look at them, you're shutting out 14,000 people. It's just bad. It's bad geometric economics. So for the third and fourth that never happened show, we shut those. I mean, it's kind of hard to say no to the money, but you got to take a swallow and go just fucking.
Or you could have just left them in 1,000
sections.
You could have just left them there looking at the back of your head and said, "Fuck them."
You easily could have done that.
They also have screens up too.
Yeah, they had these two big monitors, one on either side, and that costs money though. You hire those people yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you'd use what the Garden gives you, they just give you the scoreboard. So you're just up there in like this 4 images of you, and people have to look up at the fucking scoreboard.
Right.
And anybody who's like you have to have a good seat. So you have to hire a company to come in, and they're really fucking expensive. It's a lot of money playing the Garden. So you get into that, but when you come out, the main feeling is like the first few jokes are just not gonna. There's not gonna be this feeling of It's not like you're coming out, not like you're Aerosmith playing,
Back in the Saddle or something, right?
And people go nuts.
Yeah,
they're happy to see you, but then
you got to warm them up slightly.
Yeah, it's like starting an old car. You have to kind of crank the front and get it going. And you have to be okay and comfortable with, I'm at the Garden and it's not, I'm not killing.
Right.
Because I can't yet. You got to get it going.
But you had an opener, right? Didn't like
Todd Barry.
Todd did your show. Greer Barnes did the other 2 shows.
Now, did they listen to those guys?
Yeah, those guys got a good shot. People came in to watch them.
I got to tell you, because, I mean, you obviously know what you're doing, but when I love Todd Barry, but I'm like, Todd Barry at the Garden, he killed it. He was great.
He did great.
He was great. But to me, because of his delivery and all, I'm like, how is that going to work at the Garden? But you know what you're doing, because
it's more fun to watch a guy who has to make you listen. Like Greer Barnes is the same. The Greer almost whispers.
Right.
Greer's talks like that.
Yeah.
And he's got 15,000 people like really listening, and also Greer's jokes are really easy to like. So kablam after every joke. Todd is the same. That you could just he's got jokes.
Yeah, they loved him.
So he did great, but it doesn't matter. Once he's gone, it's like then you're up, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's a huge stage, and it's a huge amount of people. But you just have to think about your joke. You just think about your own jokes, and
Did you have a monitor or anything?
Like any other?
Did you have a monitor or anything?
You mean like a video?
No. Just like anything for like joke remembering. Like...
Oh no. I mean, I had been drilling the set so hard.
You look like you're having a great time.
I was really into it, and I knew also you just have to know it's going to start a certain way, but then you're going to get to a place.
Right.
And every show I did there got to a place where I'm just walking around, and the best feeling was like killing for like a good 10 minutes of huge laughs, and then you start a new bit and they're dead quiet, 15,000 people, and there's an energy in the room because you've been killing,
right?
But they're just looking and listening, and you feel like you're all together in this place. It's pretty cool. I'm sure it's not as cool for them. I'm sure that I had the best time. I'm sure there's people that are sitting in the fucking nosebleed seats that are like, this fucking sucks. But they only paid $45. I kept the ticket prices down because I wanted it to be okay.
Do you hear your voice coming back at you, and does that throw you off?
No, the Garden has excellence.
They figure that out.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because who were we talking about? Who was it? Ron White or somebody the other day?
Someone did an 80. That's 80,000.
Gabriel. But yesterday, saying when you play the stadiums and it fucks up everything.
That's right. But the Garden was made for performance. It wasn't, and sports, but the concerts have always been a big thing there. So it's not like you play a raceway and it's just
and you had a little smoke machine. I saw.
Yeah, I did not ask for a fucking smoke machine. It's the dumbest thing I ever saw.
You deserve a good smoke machine, Lou.
I swear I wasn't sure if you decided to set that up as a little bit for yourself or what. But
when I made them turn it off. Yeah, because the fan is blowing smoke. I didn't see it because it's all so big. So at one point I walked over to the edge of the stage to kind of make a connection with people at the far end, and I see this fan blowing fucking smoke. Like I'm fucking Van Halen. Like, what is this adding? This isn't funny.
Right.
I think smoke always takes away from comedy.
It does. It's the dumbest thing you can
Absolutely. It takes away from everything except the Great White concert.
Yeah. So I told him to turn the fucking fan off. It was a dumb thing.
Plus, it's noisy.
It is noisy. I went to see Todd Barry's special. He did a special at I don't know, somewhere in New York, and it was for Comedy Central. And Comedy Central, they don't know what the fucking comedy. So they sat cute women up front because they wanted you to feel like when you watch the cute women like Todd Barry, and they're not laughing at. They actually threw 2 women out in the middle of his special
because they were
talking
the right reaction
because they were fucking yapping, and they had a smoke machine. And this room was kind of intimate and quiet, so he's doing jokes, and then all of a sudden you hear, and you hear the smoke machine
kicking up.
Yeah, but why would anyone allow that? The smoke does. You talked me out of that though, because I was in Massachusetts shooting, and I was suicidal because we couldn't get smoke machines in this room. I thought
that's
you needed them. And so I asked him, how did you do it when you shot up there? And you were like, I don't use them. They're stupid.
It was right after that, too, and I told you that. Yeah.
You saved me a meltdown because I'm like, oh, okay.
Why would it add?
I just thought for the lighting. Like there's certain lighting that directors love to use it. They use it
The reason that people use smoke is because it adds an atmosphere to the room, and it gives, you can see the air.
Right.
And it's totally just a visual thing. It's a fucking director who wants to get a job doing music. He doesn't want to shoot comedians.
Right.
So he wants to show the tape of you and say, look, I made this fucking loser look okay because of the smoke.
Right.
Yeah,
and so then he'll get to do a striper video.
Use different terminology.
The best shots.
No, that's why would he say anything different?
No, I just try to say, look at this great thing I did with this guy, this rock star.
I'm not sure he would say that. I think he'd probably say
the best shots are close-ups, right? Aren't they the best shots in a comedy thing would be close-ups? You wouldn't need fucking smoke for that.
No, but it's the same air. I mean, it's the same visual, I think.
You did it at the...
You should stop asking about this, Rich.
You're out
of your depth.
I'm not. I need to know about smoke machines.
You did your special at the Comedy Store. That was definitely cool.
That was really fun.
Nice and intimate,
Yeah, that was great.
You bring up a great point with the Comedy Central tapings. I've been to a ton of them, and they kill the audience by just overthinking and going, all right, no, you over here, and they're moving people around for 20 minutes, and by the time the show starts, you're kind of fucking tired from sitting there waiting.
I don't know what they're trying to sell.
It's dumb. So the new season of Louie, I've seen the first 4 episodes. Very, I shouldn't say very, a bit darker than past seasons. Actually, very dark at times.
Yeah, maybe.
What am I saying?
Well, that's a funny, interesting season. Yeah.
Judy Gold killed it for you.
She was great. Great in the first episode.
She started doing our show. I really enjoy her a lot.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And then you also had Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport's on not this week, but next week.
That episode is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things that we ever did.
For the show.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I wish I could talk about it openly because I guess the anxiety I was feeling through that episode.
Well, it's a true story.
Is it really?
Yeah, it didn't happen to me. It happened to Robert Smigel, who's a great comedy guy in Triumph's voice. Robert Smigel?
No, but I remember you and I talked about this, and I guess Rappaport is the guy you got.
That's right. That's right. Because somebody canceled on me. I had somebody else in the role. And they kind of fucked me and canceled me. So I don't know if I want to say.
Could you tell us off air?
I don't know if I want to say.
I don't know if it's a bad thing. I mean, if you're just
Is this someone we know?
Yeah, but
I got canceled last minute, so I thought I was in trouble. I actually almost canceled the episode.
Wow,
because we had like 3 days to cast it. He carries the whole. It's a character that carries the entire episode.
Absolutely,
and not everybody can do it.
He learned that in 3 days.
Yeah, he learned that very quickly.
Oh my!
I mean, I don't know if it was that quick, but he. We went through so many different people, and we offered it to a few people, and then somebody gave me a long list of here's some people you could think about, and his name just jumped out.
Right.
And I thought, fuck, Michael Rappaport, I always liked that guy. He's always been good in everything I've seen him in. And I assume he still knows what he's doing. And so we reached out to him, and he said yes immediately.
Oh, wow.
And he showed up, and he fucking, first of all, he knew it, which just shouldn't be impressive for an actor to know their lines, but he just got it. And like, he would do little things. And I'd be like, that wasn't mentioned in the direction and the script, but he did it. Like, he really did it.
Right.
And he really, to me, he's like the guy now. You know, there used to be this troupe of guys, the tough guy actors, the salt of the earth guys, like Harvey Keitel,
Kevin Spacey,
De Niro, Kevin Spacey. Yeah, like a real guy from the neighborhood, like Kevin Spacey. Real scary. You could tell he was really like, he could walk down fucking Elizabeth Street. I don't know. I can't think of it. But anyway, but I think Rappaport's that guy now. I mean, all those guys are old now. And
you were happy with how he did it, too. Because I remember you talked about it. You're like, I want to get someone who's really going to do a good job. That was a big thing for you.
I cannot imagine anyone else doing it.
No, me neither.
I mean, that might be up for an award or something.
I think so.
That thing was...
that was one of those things where when we started, I barely talked to him. We hired him. He was on the West Coast. And then he came and we were shooting a whole other scene. We were shooting the first scene of the show with this woman in a store. And I was shooting that, and I just knew Rappaport's. I got somebody. Michael's here, and he's in his cop uniform, and he's ready. And I'm like, okay, good, whatever. And then right before we shot his first scene, I took 2 seconds to say, I'm so glad you're doing this. Thank you. And then I just walked away. And so my first real conversation with him is on screen.
No way.
Because I walk, and then he comes up to me, starts talking to me. And as he's in character,
right,
I'm really thinking, I can't fucking believe how good this episode is going to be.
Awesome.
And the first take, I think, is on the air. We just were like, let's use that. And it was easy to shoot because he was so good, and he just got better and better.
Is that your thing, to not kind of go over this stuff with the guys beforehand?
Yeah, I don't rehearse, and I don't...
you want to do it like cold for the first time?
I stay away from people when they're on the set. And feel what the reaction is first,
right?
And you can tell some actors get rattled by that. They realize we're not going to rehearse, and I go, we're going to just shoot because it's digital. You're not. You used to be you had to save film,
right?
It doesn't cost money, so might as well shoot it, you know. And it makes people scared. A lot of actors and that's a positive thing.
I'm amazed by this. Yeah. Really, I just felt like you guys really knew each other for a long time. And this was just really second nature to you two.
Also, there's supposed to be an ill ease between me and him. So if we got really comfortable and friendly, you'd see it a little bit. I've made that mistake too. Like if you have somebody on the show that you're excited to work with, so you pepper them with questions about movies and you make friends with them, and then you're supposed to be not so good friends on the show, and then you've kind of ruined it.
Gotcha.
So I just stay away from folks.
Well, bravo on that. All 4 episodes are great, but
why did you cancel on Louis though? Because it's just such a hot and critically respected show. I don't even think it's a bad thing to. I just think it's crazy to cancel. Like, why would you cancel it?
Did you have a smoke machine at the Comedy Store?
You didn't hear anything, right? The last 10 minutes, you're just obsessing about a smoke machine.
I didn't have one. I didn't have one.
And then the other episode with
you still smoke cigarettes?
10 years off of cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's been 10 years since you smoked a cigarette?
Yeah.
But he chews the gum every day.
Big deal.
He's been chewing the nicotine gun for 10 years.
Big deal. Nicotine, you don't get cancer from nicotine.
But why can't you just say goodbye to the gum finally?
Why can't you leave me alone? I quit everything in life.
There's nothing...
I don't get high. I don't eat red meat. I don't.
Yeah, he went from fucking crack addict wearing tight cutoff shorts to get a discount on crack.
Right. Yes, thank you.
From a gay crack dealer, he went from that to chewing Nicorette gum.
Exactly, and there's been no improvement.
See,
that's pretty good.
Louis' right. Maybe we should leave you alone.
No, here's why we don't like Rich chewing the gum. This is why. Because it's creepy because you chew it and eat at the same time.
No.
Like yes, you do. I watched you. He'll take the gum and put it in his gums.
Really?
Yeah,
he'll stick it up into his gum so he could have his turkey bacon.
Oh, you're paying too much attention to him.
I can't not do it. He's right in front of me. How am I going to not do it? What am I going to do? Not look at him?
And then I want to acknowledge the Bob Kelly episode was really good too.
Yeah, Bob is great this year. He was in a lot more this year. Every year I want to use him a little more.
Right.
I want to see Bobby's episode. I haven't. I thought they were going to show it at I went to your rap party because Bob goes, yeah, they might show a couple episodes.
Why the fuck? Who told him that?
I don't know. He's just a stupid man. But I mean, that was what he said.
He can be dumb.
He's becoming quite the actor.
Yeah.
What sucks
He's
about
an excellent actor.
I absolutely agree.
He's really
agree with
good.
that.
He's getting better he's always been a good comic, but he's really every time I see him, I'm like, Bob's figuring it out.
He's got it all.
His special is very good. He shot that at the Village Underground.
Yes,
I like that a lot.
But Goldthwait directed.
What sucks about seeing these episodes ahead of time, you really want to discuss it with the man, but we can't give away these fucking these storylines.
Yeah, the one with Bobby's pretty great. He's funny in it, and sorry.
No, it's okay.
Can't talk about it. No, I don't know. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
I'm very happy with the
Why'd you only do
episodes.
8 this year? I'm sure that was your choice.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I was gonna do. What happened was I wanted to take a year off again. I wanted to not start shooting until the fall, and then and they agreed, FX, to let me take a year off. And so then a couple months went by. This is after I finished last season. I was really tired, and a couple months went by, and I was one night I got high. I smoked pot, and I got excited about a whole idea for the next season. I was like, I think I figured out next season. I've got an amazing idea for next season, and I started writing it. And I was like, this is going to be so great. I want to do this now. And I wrote to the president of FX because the next morning he was going to announce that we were taking a year off.
Right.
And I said, hold the announcement. Can I come back after all in the spring? And he said, shit, okay, I got to talk to everybody. So he went and talked to everybody. And then he wrote me back and he said, you have to say what you're doing now because we have to announce this. And he said, we already spent the money for a full season, but you can do a partial season if you want to come back soon. And I was like, totally. And then, so he announced that the next morning, and then I woke up and I looked at all the shit I wrote when I was high. I was like, this is terrible. This is terrible stuff. I didn't use a single idea. I had like 10 pages written.
Right.
10 stoned pages.
Could you tell us one idea?
It was the whole plot was that Doug Stanhope, who was on the show a few years ago.
As Eddie, yeah.
As Eddie, who this suicidal comic, that I run into him in New York, and he's like wearing a suit and tie, and he just, he cleaned up his act, and he's making money. He's like an investment banker or something like that. And we end up opening a comedy club together. I had this idea. I open a comedy club, and I become a club owner, and and I thought, that's such a cool idea. I wrote all these ideas about young comics come and stuff like that. And then I looked at it all, I was like, no, none of this is funny. And it just stunk. It was really bad. And so now I'm like, I got to fucking... And I only get 8 episodes. And the whole thing was just so stupid. It was just... I made a huge decision that had impact on my and a lot of other people's lives because a lot of people work for me. And I was stoned at the time.
That's wonderful to hear. How's the pot? You like the pot, huh?
I do very little of it. It's like every couple of weeks. If I do it, I'm very paranoid about drug use. So if I do it, if I get high like twice in a week, I'm like, I have a problem, and I stop because I just don't like. I don't think it's good for comics getting high. It takes your will away and it makes you too comfortable. You know. So I don't do it a lot. And I got kids. I can't be fucking around with that shit. But once every couple of weeks. Smoke a little marijuana.
Just a little bit?
I bought a big thing of marijuana from a guy like 10 years ago. So I smoke very old marijuana. It's really old and dusty.
You still have it from 10 years ago?
I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. You know what they're doing with marijuana these days and the edibles? You can get some nice fresh stuff, Louis.
Yeah, but I don't want to go get into... I don't want to go become a consumer of pot and go find a pot guy.
Right. You told that wonderful story. I think it was in Comedians in Cars with Jerry.
Yeah.
Getting high and going to the 3D movies, the IMAX.
Yeah, I fucked up a little too because I've been back there since, and there's people who see me and oh my God, he's high now. He's at the IMAX.
Right.
And that's like a perfect nightmare when you're high.
It's the thing now.
Yeah. So
You just want to go and relax and enjoy the movie.
That's all I want to do is I don't want to be pestered.
Yeah, nobody wants to be pestered when they're high.
I hate being pestered.
Are you getting more and more pestered?
Yeah, not as bad as it used to be. Kind of people are used to me now, and you know, I like to live my life, so I take the subway with my kids and stuff. And
right.
Once in a while, somebody. I also don't mind now. I've become immune to the feeling bad about being rude to people. Essentially, so it used to be like people would go like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. You know, I just don't like." I'd go through a whole thing.
Yeah.
But now people are like, "Can I get a picture?" And I go, "No, you can't." and I just feel I feel nothing.
We might have saw that one time.
What?
Yeah, we did see that.
We might have saw that one time, and then the person doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
it
know
puts
what to
them in
do.
a weird position. Well, you came up and said some shit.
Right.
You put yourself in that. I'm not responsible for your fucking choice to talk to a stranger and ask for something. You asked a stranger for something, and they said no. That's your fucking problem. Next time, go live your fucking life.
Yeah. We were outside the building the last time you were in here, just kind of shooting the shit, catching up a little bit, and someone came up. And I didn't feel like you were being rude, but the funny part about the whole thing was the girls just didn't know what to do with herself. She never expected a no.
Yeah, no. People expect you to say yes.
Yeah.
Well,
so then she's standing there awkwardly.
Expecting something else.
And then she thought maybe you were joking, and then it was obvious you weren't joking, and then she didn't know how to like leave the situation.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the whole thing.
What about a quick
in
autograph?
a sick way?
What? I'll sign an autograph.
Autograph.
Sure. Because that doesn't take nothing off me. I have no problem signing an autograph because it doesn't. I don't feel one way or the other. I hate taking a picture of somebody. So I'm just not going to do something I don't want to do.
It's like every fucking checkout counter. Can we have your phone number? No, go fuck yourself. Why would they ask you, and then when you tell them no, they get mad.
That's exactly like what he's talking about.
No, listen. First of all, don't listen to me, fucking windblower.
You're right.
I'm saying people
It's
get
exactly
mad
the
when you
same.
say no.
Yes, I know. After the garden, when everyone wants to take your picture, it's the same at being at Best Buy.
No,
Can we have your email? Shut up, you ass.
All right.
Just sip your coffee.
I was once at a American Apparel store with my daughters buying some socks, and the guy said, "We need your email," and I said, "I don't want to give it to you," and he said, "We require it for purchases. You can't make a purchase without an email." And I said, "Well, it's no@iwon't.com." And he took it down.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, because what do they do about cash? They don't ask you if you're making a cash purchase.
I was making a cash purchase.
Oh, and they still wanted your email?
Still wanted my
at this
email.
point, they even say, we don't know how to ring this up.
I always say, no, I don't
I'm
have
like,
email.
You're lying.
I don't have it.
Yeah,
Right.
but what are they going to go fucking, we'll get a private investigator?
Right.
Right. I always say, I don't have an email, or use your own email.
They don't ask as much now because it's all on the fucking credit card. So they got
Your
you either
email's
way.
not- Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, most of your shit.
So I don't like giving up my personal info.
How are
Very secretive.
how are the daughters?
They're great, 10 and 13 years old, and they're good.
Yeah.
At school, they're both good students. They're not assholes, and I got lucky with the two kids, I think.
And I read your daughter takes a bus too because you don't want her to be spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, I for a while, she goes to school uptown. It used to be I walked my kids both to the same school, but she goes to middle school now, and her school is up in the middle of Midtown. It's not near me anymore. So I used to sometimes put her in an Uber in the mornings to send her to school, or I would take her to school in my if I was in production, like a car comes to get me to take me to work.
Right.
So I would take both kids to school in my car, and then go to work.
Right.
And we liked it. It was our time together. But then the schedules changed, and she got old enough to take a bus. So she takes a bus every morning. But there are some mornings where it's like, literally 0 degrees. And it's dark. It's like dark blue that fucking morning. Mm-hmm. And she's so bummed. And I look and I see my Mercedes sitting there warm. They got the driver. It's all warm and toasty. And I could easily have them take her to school. But that's just not a good way to
bring them up.
How far is the bus that she has to walk?
You got to have a fucking, the bus. She has to walk. She has to walk 1 block, and then she has to wait for a bus. Get on a bus, take it uptown, then she has to walk like 2 blocks, two shitty blocks over. And yeah, it's a fucking bummer every day for her. And then she takes the bus home.
Right.
But for a while, I was sending her in Ubers. And then her mom, we're divorced. Her mom said to me, and her mom's, we're friends now, And she was like, look, I'm not going to overstep and tell you what to do, but that's a little much with the Ubers every fucking day. That's and I thought about it. And I thought that's true. It ain't right. I mean, she needs to have a burden in life, and that's going to be her life later. Yeah. She's going to get a job somewhere that's not perfect, and she's going to need to take public transportation. She's going to need to make a life for herself.
And deal with some shit.
Yeah, so, let her to be in the charge of it herself. It isn't like making some false, like making it harder where it doesn't have to be. It's just letting her take care of herself in every way that she can.
Every once in a while, though, do you go, all right, just get in the Mercedes?
There's times when if she misses the bus, she'll call me and say, I missed the bus. I'm like, well, get the next one and be late to school. That's the consequence of, there's nothing else that's the only thing I can do for her.
Right.
It's the only thing I can do for that has any meaning at all is give her some life skills. She's got an allowance, so I don't buy her shit on top of that. It's like, well, I want this, but I don't want to spend my own money. Well, I don't want to spend my own money either. I'd love to spend somebody else's money.
Right.
Fuck you. Take it out of your fucking own.
Do you guys
account.
argue a lot or no?
No, not really. We get along pretty good.
I was just thinking, where's the spaceman?
Yeah, I was just about to leave to find out.
Oh, okay. We got a spaceman coming in here too.
Yeah, we can all talk together.
You know the guy that was on the space station and made that viral video of Space Oddity?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
You have to know.
No, I know.
Are you fucking with us?
I don't think I ever saw
that. He was floating up there in the old nothing, just playing guitar.
He had a guitar up there, and he did a version of Space Oddity. I think Louis fucking with us.
I'm sure he has. Okay. Louis sees everything.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not asking you if it was. I'm just saying that guy's coming in. I'm just trying to tell you he's coming in.
What's his name?
Chris Hadfield.
Yes,
that's great.
He's from Canada, so
that's awesome.
We're trying to figure out what to ask the guy.
I already had a bunch of questions.
Yeah,
yeah, I do. I'm very prepared.
I have a lot.
Yeah.
What's your question for him?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about. I don't know. I just wait till he gets here.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I don't want to.
I want to ask him what are the words to Space Oddity.
Okay.
What are all the words?
Right. And what does it mean to you as a man in space?
No, just what are the words? I don't know the words. Tell them to me.
Yeah, but don't sing them. It's humiliating.
Just tell them.
Just tell them. Don't sing them. Right.
No, we'll ask him. We'll just talk about space. I have a bunch of don't you want to know about other planets?
I'd love to know what. Yeah, he's probably been to Mars and stuff, right?
No, he hasn't, Lou.
No one has been to Mars yet.
What?
I'm going to ask him about traveling.
What's wrong, Rich?
I got to leave at 10:30. I got to get a tooth pulled.
So you just said "oh fuck" out loud on the radio?
Serious.
Why do you have to have a tooth pulled?
Because it just hit me that I got to leave at 10:30, and I might miss the spaceman.
They can't fix it. They got to pull it out.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, I'm done. I got like 3 fucking real teeth left. They got to pull this one. Then I got to get a partial here. It's a pain in the fucking ass.
Why don't you just get it fixed when you had your fake ones put in?
These aren't fake, they're implants.
What's the difference?
Fake ones come out.
They're still fake, though. They're still false. They're not,
they're
not your teeth.
Yes, they just really.
But we call them implants.
To them.
It's a lot more money, and they're implants. Okay,
I understand it.
I know
they're a higher class, but they don't become real teeth when they're implanted.
Yeah,
true. We know that.
Well, what are they made of?
Porcelain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's organic material.
Sam?
So they're made out of little pieces of toilet.
Yes. My career's in my mouth.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Sam, what's the skinny on the spaceman?
Spaceman's not here yet.
Oh, wow. I think he'd be fucking on time for a launch.
God. I think he might have.
Come on. Tied it right in.
You think he might have heard us talking about him?
We didn't bash him.
No, who the fuck listens to you?
Well, I mean, before you got here, all
nice
show long, Opie was saying that he's not a real astronaut because he didn't walk on the moon.
Well, he didn't walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Well, compared to the guys we, kind of grew up with, those guys on the space station,
they
they're
stopped the moonwalks. They're worthless.
Do you think it's possible at all that the moonwalk didn't happen?
No, it's an impossibility that was faked. It's impossible.
Why do you say that?
Because there's too many people that would be required to keep the secret. Too many people.
Why can't
told
we
the
take
same
a picture
story.
of the stuff that's there?
That's a very good question.
Because we could take, all the things people say, like satellites can take a picture of a license plate.
So why
can't they get a picture of the flag?
I'm surprised they can't. I didn't know that they couldn't. Well, that's when it comes in.
it would shut up a lot of people.
Maybe they can.
We have the technology to do that, I would assume.
Don't we even have stuff that's orbiting? Don't we have something that's orbiting the moon? Take a picture.
Not
of
from my knowledge. No,
not orbiting the moon, but
no. And maybe it's in a place where our camera just can't see it. Maybe it's behind something. Behind like a dune. It may be behind
a box.
It may be behind a mountain.
A big FedEx box that somebody has filed up.
No, but there's mountains on the moon. There's ridges. So
yeah, but we're above all that. It's not like we're on the moon.
You were
looking for it.
No,
we're
but you still, because of shadowing, there's a side of the moon we still never see. So the way it rotates.
Yeah, but they didn't land on the dark side.
No, but I'm saying because it rotates a certain way, we may not be the same shadow that covers it may cover it all the time. Or the same mountain that's in front of it may be in front of it all the time.
Well, that's a real question to ask this guy.
Yeah.
Is there an answer online? You believe we landed, though, right?
I have no idea.
Sounds to me like you have a little ambiguity there.
But what's just your thought about it?
Yeah,
I always think when something's possible and a really good idea, then it might have happened. In other words, I think it would have been smart for them, and easy for them to fake it, which means they could have.
But why hasn't anyone come forward and said, "Look, we faked that thing"?
Yeah, and what about the subsequent moon?
You're going to be able to keep everyone?
I don't think. Look, let's slow down, fellas.
Hold on.
I don't believe in that.
Hold on, Holocaust
theory.
denier Louis C.K.
Yeah, that's where this is headed. No, I don't. I think they went to the moon. I can't prove anything.
Because people can't keep their mouths shut. So you would have one guy that would say, "Look, yeah, of course we faked that fucking thing."
And there's been other ones afterwards.
It feels like they went to me.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It seems as though they did go.
And Buzz Aldrin's sitting here and he's telling you moon stories.
I was going to have him on my show, Buzz Aldrin.
He's a delight.
He agreed to be on the show. I did this episode last year where I have sex with an astronaut's daughter and then he punches me. And we hired him. He was going to do it. But we kept having to change his dates because he's got health problems and stuff, and we finally had to cancel. So we just got some actor to do it.
He didn't seem to have health problems when we had him on.
No.
He's very...
Maybe he was bullshitting me.
He's probably just a grouch.
He's very ornery.
Very grouchy man.
He's an older fellow.
Yes, he is.
And that's the nicest thing we could say about him.
Yeah, he told me.
He told Jimmy to stop
dilly-dallying. Grouch.
Really?
Real grouch.
What were you dilly-dallying
He wrote a book on fucking going to Mars.
What were you guys doing a project together or something?
Yes.
Like, why were you dilly-dallying in a way that upset him?
In my questioning, where we were talking about going to Mars. He wrote a book called Going to Mars, some shit that I didn't read. So I asked him, an old man, trying to come up with a new idea.
Yeah.
So I said to him something about the psychological testing, because there's medical stuff that you're going to require to go to Mars. They're talking about like those little subatomic computers that will go in and check you for cancer so you don't get sick. So I asked him about the mental stuff. And somebody about the mental, and he's like, "Oh, it's not dilly-dallying. They said I got to get over to CNN."
That makes you feel good as a broadcaster.
And I had his book he was going to sign, so I asked him to sign the outside of it, just so I could display it. He goes, "I always sign the inside."
He just opened up the book.
Cranky old cunt for no reason. It's totally.
Did you ever see that video of him punching a dude?
Oh, yeah.
I did. Yeah,
that's why I was going to have him in the show. Punch me in the face.
That would be
Bart
great.
Sibel, that guy's name is, I think, or something Sibel.
Yeah.
He punched.
Conspiracy guy, right?
Yeah. That guy apologized to Buzz Aldrin too, I believe.
He did?
Yeah, I think he felt bad about it, or he said he was sorry.
We've been on the moon 7 times, and someone's saying there's a photo of the flag in the orbiter. It's online. So we can find this online.
All right. Yeah. I believe they went.
John in Arizona. I would like to see that picture.
I would like to see a picture
I
of
don't
the
know if
flag,
I've ever seen it.
allegedly.
John, where did we find that
The old
picture?
alleged flag.
Hello?
Yeah, John. Welcome.
Where do we find that picture?
Yep.
Do I have to do everything? This is the Opie and Jim show. Look up yourself.
You're not wrong.
All right, thank
You're
you.
not wrong.
We
Your
will go
disgust
find
is
it.
justified.
You got rid of your Twitter?
Yeah.
You finally had it?
It didn't make me feel good. It made me feel bad instead. So I stopped doing it.
Why? I wish life was that. That's a very simple way to look at it. That's a very healthy way to be.
I just thought, this thing doesn't make me feel good. Every time I say anything on here, I wish I hadn't said it.
Oh, really?
And then I'll write a couple of things to try to fix it.
Right.
And then I feel worse.
Were you drunk tweeting, or was it just like
No,
you'd say
just
something-
anytime I tweeted anything, I was like, oh, I don't like the way that came out. And then 4.5 million people saw it. Like, it was the worst things I ever said, heard and seen by the most people. It's like the worst possible scenario.
But the people never got to you, right?
The what? Oh, you mean things people write back and stuff? I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, so
no, I mean, reading it depressed me, and writing it depressed me. I hate it. It is everybody's worst side.
Right.
When you read it, you read the stuff people say. It's like, ugh, why would you say that? And then you look at them as a person. You go, well, you're not even that bad of a person. It's too instant. I think it's too fast. I don't think the speed helps dialogue. I think it hurts. I think it's why everything is kind of fucked up and polarized, because people are going too fast. They're trying to react quickly. You know, like blog things, people write a whole think piece about, here's why this person's wrong. And then you can even tell that they probably a week later went, oh, I don't know. Right. I should have given that a little more thought.
Give it a couple extra days. Or whatever.
So I don't know. I just didn't like it. I hate it. I hate the smarminess of little tweets. You know, just came back from meh. Here's my joke about it. I don't, there's no quality to it.
I like saying apparently in a tweet. I always start a good tweet starts with the word apparently. A gem is coming.
But you're
gem is coming.
But you're a guy that a lot of people enjoy your tweets.
Not really.
They weren't enjoying them. You don't think?
No, I don't think I was an entertaining tweeter. I mostly to me the point of Twitter was just to announce that I'm doing something. It was just to get the word out, and then people go, all you do is promote. Yeah, that's what the fuck it is.
Right.
It's like watching a commercial for a car, for like a Ford Explorer, and you're like, well, why don't you do something else besides tell me how good an Explorer is?
Exactly.
And the Explorer's like, I'm a fucking car. I'm just trying to...
It's a great promotional.
Sell myself.
It's a great promotional tool.
Yeah, but I don't like ever feeling like I need promotion, like I need a certain thing. Like, oh, you got to tweet, and every time you do a project, they're like, will you please tweet about this? And now I get to say, I don't have Twitter. I don't do it. It's like when I started touring in theaters, my first agent that put me in big theaters, he said, let's talk about radio presence, how much you want on every show. And I said, okay, what do you mean? He goes, okay, this is what they want. The DJs, like you go to a city, they want free tickets to give away. They want to be able to give a meet and greet exclusive for their contest winners. The DJ wants to go on stage to start the show. And they want a banner. They want a van parked outside, giving away bumper stickers, and they want a banner up on stage. And that's everything that they're going to ask for.
That was my life for years.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I was doing it, I was embarrassed. I'm like, I have nothing to do with this. Why? Because they get you in front of a whole bunch of people, but they're not there to see you. They're here to see Louis C.K.
Yeah. So my agent said, what of that will you tolerate in each market? And I said, let's start by saying no to all of it. Like, absolutely no to all of it. Let's say that what they can have is tickets, and they can sit in the audience. If the DJ wants to go, but he can't give away tickets.
Right.
I'm not going to meet him. Can't say he's going to nothing. He goes, well, the risk there is they won't promote it because they want to be able to say, I'm going to be there. The Wheeze is going to be there, whatever their fucking thing. And, and I said, well, I don't want an audience full of people that are there because they're excited to see the fucking DJ for 10 seconds. So I said, let's do a tour where we have no support from the radio, and let's find out that it was a huge mistake. Let's go.
You're willing to risk it. Yeah.
After 10,
that's pretty brave.
After 10 cities, have somebody say we sold no tickets because and then I'll do it. But I found out that it made no difference. So I've never, in all the years I've done, self-promoting tours. I mean, I used to do radio when I did clubs, but when you do a theater, it's all up to you. That you're not working for the club, you're working for yourself. So it's up to you.
Right.
Like when I worked for a club, like a club hires you. Yeah, of course I'll do whatever the fuck they want. I'm there. They're paying me. I'll do whatever will be helpful.
Right.
But when it became up to me, I was like, let's see if it works not to do it.
Did you get sick of local radio in general?
Yeah, I mean,
notice I say local radio because we're on a different level, people.
Well, it's like anything else. There's some local radio guys who are really cool, and I really enjoyed it. And there's some guys who I hated.
And a lot of them you hated, probably.
I don't know how it broke down. Maybe 50-50, something like that. I don't know. 60-40, I won't say which way. But
most of my experiences have been okay with them. They're not terrible.
Well, you do find the ones that you like, though.
Yeah, they're bad, some of them, but none of them have really been dicks in a long time.
It's the ones that don't do any research whatsoever.
It is rare. I don't mind that. It's rare that somebody's actually an asshole. I did a show in Sacramento, and the guy was a giant.
Do you know what? I think that's the same guy that I didn't like. Did he stand when he was? He
was standing.
He's a cunt because he's a guy who isn't funny and resented comedians. He's a guy that would play clown music when they're comedians.
Yes, he played clown music.
Yeah, he was a cocksucker.
He played clown music, dun, 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 and I'm just standing there listening to clown music, and then he goes, "Isn't that the music they play when you come on stage?"
No, but
and I said, and I just go, "No, it's not."
I wish I could remember his name.
He insulted me about 50 times, and then when I left, his program director said he was upset because you were late. But I was brought on a radio tour by a handler.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck.
You had nothing to do with that.
I wasn't late, and he was just a dick. And I think I was shitty to him, or I was sarcastic to him, and then he turned out to be. Then he became pliable, or whatever the word you want to use is, whatever the proper.
Well,
word is.
one thing I learned about doing radio is it doesn't matter how it goes. It doesn't have to go well. No one's going to hear you being. There are guys who are so funny on the radio that they get people to come to the club. But I've never been that guy. I'm not funny that way. So to me, it's like I'm going to get on the show and say when I'm on. I don't give a fuck if this person likes me or not. Like I did some country western stations where they'd get a little offended, and I'm like, please, let's let this end with me getting kicked off the show,
right?
Because then people will come see me.
Yeah, of course, a little controversy.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm listening to the radio and people are getting along, I just tune it out.
Yeah.
But if you hear tension, you go, oh, fuck, what's going on
Well,
here?
then let's play some clown music.
I wish I knew what that guy's name was.
I mean, Louis was late to our show. Let's play some clown music. Get some controversy going.
Yeah, he was such a fucking local.
I can't see you let him.
And I'm sure I did.
Jimmy's not gonna
He
let
was
that
such
go
a
ever.
local fucking nobody.
Yeah.
Just such a jealous little cunt.
And real
One
asshole.
of those guys.
Giant
yeah.
asshole.
Real asshole.
I did the show twice, and he was an asshole both times.
Both times. I think I did it. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. I wish I
Maybe he
remember.
committed suicide.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
His wife left him, or his girl left him. Whoever
Yeah.
he was involved with.
And then he shot himself in the head.
Yeah, but he lived. He was like Prince's father in Purple Rain. They took him out, and he was just breathing, looking up at the ceiling, and then died later.
Or like that kid from the heavy metal music.
Oh,
kid.
yeah. Yeah, where he's got that dumb face.
Lips all fucking.
Looks like a silly goose.
Yeah.
I think the spaceman has blown us off.
He's coming. There's a mix-up with the time.
Well, what happened? He never did that shit on liftoff, did he?
No,
Got in the
right.
fucking dumb shuttle on time. He was space boy.
You better get here before 10:30, or we're closing up shop.
Exactly.
Ground control to major late.
How many minutes away?
He should be here right now.
Well, go check, Sam.
All
Someone
right.
didn't check
All
their
right, we'll
space
see.
launch.
Somebody didn't
You going to be
check
doing
their
any more
Omega.
movies?
I get asked to do movies sometimes, and then I just think about I don't want to go to this city, and I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I don't like going and living in a trailer for a month.
That must be fun to say no. I've never actually done that.
Yeah, you got to say no. Well, you get to a point where you get offered stuff that you're not qualified for. And you go like, if I do that, I'm going to look like an asshole.
If I thought that way, I'd never accept anything.
I'm in one movie this year called Trumbo. It's a movie I shot this last summer, and that's a big movie that's coming out.
Okay.
With Bryan Cranston and.
I guess
like
what I was asking was your own movies,
Yeah, I'm going to direct a movie that I'm in also.
because I would assume you would love to do that.
I was going to do it this summer, but I put it off to next year
Oh, okay.
because I want to concentrate on the show. I want to make the show really good for next. I start the next season really soon. I'm going bang bang with the next
Nice.
two.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first 4 episodes are great. I can't wait to see
Thanks,
the other
man.
4.
Thanks.
Who else is in this season? I know it's Kelly, it's Judy Gold, Michael Rappaport.
Mike Rappaport. Not a lot of big guest names this year. There's one episode where I go to a Broadway play, and so I wrote scenes from a play. You know, like I made a fake play.
Oh, wow.
And we got, I'm giving it away, but I got Glenn Close and Matthew Broderick and Jonathan Lithgow and Michael Cera all came, and for them it was just, an hour of their time.
Right.
But it looks like I'm at a play and all those people are on stage.
Very cool.
So that was cool. That was like all our guest stars on one.
Yeah.
You ever
But
see
the whole
Fatal
thing where
Attraction?
what's that?
You ever see Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, that was.
she was scary in that.
I know, right? The crazy lady.
Hey, look who's coming into the studio there. What's up, Chris?
How are you? This is Louis.
Hi, how
Louis
are you?
C.K.
Nice to meet you. Hello. That's Rich Vos there.
And that's Gregorio.
One S.
do
One
crack.
S.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Spaceman.
Welcome.
Spaceman has arrived. What's going on, Chris?
How are you?
We're good. We're very good. We have so many questions for you about space.
Yes, like when the shuttle takes off, is it normally on time?
By definition, yes. Yeah, it needs to be on time. Otherwise, it goes to the wrong place.
What was the one?
Louis, we were talking about the space, the moon landing.
right.
And of course, I believe it happened. But can you take a photo of the flag where it is now?
You can take a photo of the footprints and where the rover drove around. You can still see the lunar lander sitting on the moon. And there's lots of photos out there. You can,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Why haven't we
That's
seen
answered.
them?
That's answered.
I don't know why we've never seen those pictures.
Well, there's pictures of
And why
Bigfoot
can't you
and
see
stuff
the
like
flag?
that, so Well, the flag's kind of hard because it's been exposed to ultraviolet light from the sun for 30 or 40 years, so it's probably faded to white. And also, when the little rocket ship took off with the 2 astronauts in it, they blew over the flag in some of the places just because of the exhaust out of the rocket. So, but the footprints are all there.
Why didn't they put the flag somewhere else? You can't blow. You can't blow over the flag.
Well,
you know how hard it was to get it up there.
Bring one when you go back next time. It's all right.
What process do you think they went through, like where Michael Collins got stuck in the thing going around the back of the moon? I mean,
He wasn't stuck. He loved it. He
You
had a
think
great
so?
time. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now he wasn't jealous he was on the moon.
No, Mike's a great. Have you read his book?
I haven't.
Carrying the Fire. It's terrific. It tells the story of Apollo really well. And no, I mean, he'd only been an astronaut for a few years, and there he was alone on the other side of the moon. What an amazing human experience! What an adventure! Pretty cool spot.
Okay, so you would have done that.
Yeah, you got to be kind of greedy to go like, well, I don't get to land. I'm not going. All I got to do was orbit the moon before anybody else ever did it.
There's not many.
Sucks.
Well, what a joke.
There's
What
not
a-
many other options. Like we could work a different club, but it's one trip. You get one trip.
Yeah, there's been a few people went
That didn't
twice.
make any sense.
Went twice. To
Yes,
the
it
moon.
did. It made a lot of sense.
No, it
Like,
didn't.
What are you
Yes.
trying to say?
What I'm
It
saying
needs
is,
to make sense to somebody besides you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes sense.
He's tying in going to the moon
I
with working
apologize
at different comedy clubs.
for this
He's-
pain.
Basically,
All right.
what you do is
No,
kind of like what we
listen
do,
to me.
except you do it in
Listen.
space.
Okay.
We do it
I'm
in
ready. I'm
Harrisburg.
listening. All right.
you can't say no to their fucking gig because it's not like there's other gigs. You fucking get what I'm saying. You don't
Do you
get
have
it.
anybody like this in NASA that you look at and they just kind of wish they were dead when they spoke?
No.
No, look, they're mean people.
They don't
because-
let guys like Rich Vos
We're not-
anywhere near guys like him.
No.
This is his first time meeting anybody this stupid. He's surrounded by the smartest people ever. He's
You
literally
understand-
never seen anybody this
Yes,
dumb.
I heard
in his
you
entire
tell me
life.
a rumor, didn't you?
Let me tell you something.
They do
funny, dummy.
exist.
First of all, I have a very high IQ, 141. Second of all, you cannot be fucking stupid to raise 3 kids and
Did you take an
apparently you
online
can.
IQ test? Did you
Yes,
take
he
an
did.
online
Yes,
IQ
he
test?
it doesn't
Yes, he
matter where
did.
it happened.
You
not
took
an
the
official
test
test.
wrong. That's why you got such a high score.
Fucking
Because you
141,
took-
baby. I'll take one here.
All right.
I'm just, you guys don't get it.
What do you?
You're right. You're right. His experience as an astronaut is very close to playing bananas in Poughkeepsie.
That close. It is.
Yes, it's exactly the
I've
same.
never been to Poughkeepsie.
See, we figured that out. So can we ask him a couple more questions?
How many revolutions around the moon did Michael Collins make? That's we were like approximately, like, was it 50 or?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number. I haven't looked it up. I'm sure someone knows that number.
Well, your
but
first time, like the first
I've
time
been around the
shuttle-
world 2,600 times.
2,600 times.
Yeah, on
Wow.
total of 3 different space flights. But I don't know. I could look it up, but I don't know.
How often?
Frequent flyer miles.
I know, it's like comedy, really. I mean, you go around the world.
Yeah,
you
you
do
go
gigs.
around the world. You got to do a lot of.
In one day, how often did you see the sun rise and
16,
set?
16 times a day. You go around the world every 92 minutes or 90 minutes.
So 8 sunrises and 8
No,
sunsets.
16 of each.
16 of each.
Yeah,
Do you
16
ever get-
sunrise, 16. And
in
once
one
every
day?
45 minutes, you get one of each. Yeah.
That's-
and they happen fast because you're driving it, right? It's like driving around a huge building into the sun. You come around the curve of the earth, you force the sunrise by your speed. So it goes from the absolute blackness of space to this erupting sunrise around the whole world, big arc of the world. And then the sun it's like the hottest day you've ever been at the beach because there's nothing between you and the sun. There's no atmosphere. There's nothing.
But you can't
to
look.
filter it.
Can you look at it? Is
No,
there?
but right next to it, it's black. The sky. There's nothing to diffuse the light. So you get
crazy.
pure searing heat from the sun. But if you look, just a little left, it's absolute
Total
blackness
black.
of space. It's very different.
Yeah, it's not. It's
than
not
what you're used to.
casting rays.
Yeah. There's no. It's not like going through the prism of the atmosphere.
Oh my
not
God.
getting
When you step out the first time, like when you step out and you're doing your first spacewalk, what is that like? I guess you're looking down at the planet.
Well, there's no down, right? So you're actually you're sort of looking up or across at the world. You in the movie Gravity, there's some
That's pretty
technical
accurate,
problems
right?
with gravity, but the sense of enormous 3-dimensionality, the sense of being separate from the world, that is right, and you really feel that. The world more feels like it's above and beside you, like you're going around the sun together with the world, and it is. We're used to seeing the world like a globe, in the library that's sort of shiny and smooth. The world looks nothing like that. It is.
It's like a blob.
No,
right?
it's text. No, the camera's
No,
done
I
a
know what it's
crappy
like.
job.
Don't tell me what the world looks like. I know what it is.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
What is CK's complete knowledge?
That's right.
So the world is textures and colors. It's more like looking at a jungle under a super harsh light that's moving. So you see stuff different every single time. It's beautiful.
Does it play with your head when you're up there seeing the Earth from above like that?
How long have you been up there for? What's your longest?
I was up total about 6 months, half a year.
But what are your thoughts on Earth in general when you see it from that perspective?
At first, you just look for things you recognize. That's what every one of you'd do. You'd be up there and you'd come across some place you'd been and you go, hey, look, there's
my house.
There's Paris or whatever. Hey, I was in Paris once. Or you'd look, Morocco. Hey, I was in Marrakesh. Look at that. But the second time around, you're kind of like, well, okay, there's Morocco. But hey, wow, look at the Straits of Gibraltar or look whatever. And then the third time and the fourth time, by about the 100th time, you start to see the whole world. And that's the difference. You see the whole world, and you see it in 90 minutes, and it just starts. You just see it. It's just one place. And
okay, but if you're up there
really
for 6
get a feel
months,
for that.
6 months, do you ever get to a point because everybody's job gets to be drudgery? Do you ever go, fuck this Earth? I'm just sick of this. Do you ever get tired of it?
No.
Bored of it? Never?
Nah, I mean,
6 months of just high stimulation, all joyful?
Well, you're busy as can be. The station is big and complicated and stuff breaks all the time. And we run about 150 or 200 experiments, so you're keeping all those things running. And if you just drift to the window, you go across the U.S. in 9 minutes from L.A. to New York. So if you can see all of the U.S. in 9 minutes, every place. So you miss most of it. And the next time across, and then the seasons change. I was on board the spaceship to go halfway around the sun, from one side of the sun to the other. So I watched the seasons of the world swap from winter to summer. So you'd have to be an IQ of way less than 141 not to be stimulated by that, I think. It is fascinating.
That's way different than doing 2 weeks at Winnipeg. Rumors in Winnipeg.
What's wrong with Winnipeg?
What's that separation thing? Is there a separation thing they say that there's some kind of a condition an astronaut can... What is it called, though?
There's somebody wrote a book about that, but they didn't really talk to astronauts when they wrote the book.
Okay.
People ask me, so did you get the overview effect? Like it's a thing. That's just it's someone's idea of what it might feel like to be an astronaut. It's not like a thing. It's just the idea that you're separate from the world. That you can't avoid. You are. You see all 7 billion people every day.
It wasn't spiritual at all?
It is reinforcingly spiritual.
Okay.
I didn't have like some epiphany or something up there.
Right.
But there's like no wishy-washy astronauts. You got to have something had to give you conviction, whatever you believe. And being there I think strengthens it, reinforces it.
Does it reinforce how stupid we are as humans, that we're fighting with each other when you see Earth from that?
It actually made me more patient.
Really?
Because you see the enormity of the scale, and not just the thing we miss is the scale of time. We are so frantically concerned about our particular 75 years. We just kind of miss the 4.5 billion that the Earth has been here. And we don't even know what 4.5... We do lousy with big numbers. To me, 4.5 billion is about the same as 5 million, because they're both huge numbers. But there's 4.5 billion is a big difference. And it's really hard to get your mind around how long the world has been here, how long it's supported life, and just what a little... gnat of a thing on the end of it we are, and we blow ourselves way out of proportion. So in fact, it made me more patient, a little more tolerant. Yeah, we got big fractious things we argue about, but the world's here to stay, and we're just
do you get like when I'm out in a natureful place, like on a beach, and there's like a mist in the air, and I get this feeling like the planet's working. Like when I see something that I'm used to seeing, I'm like, it's okay, because everybody's scared now that we broke it. So when you're up there, do you think, it's working, or do you feel like we're making a dent and we're hurting it? Or?
Yeah, to say we broke it is wrong, of course. Just 15,000 years ago, the glaciers were here, right? Glaciers covered most of New York. The ice was miles thick over
15,000 years ago.
15,000
That's not
years
long ago at all.
That's not very long ago.
We had that kind of winter this year, though.
I know. I was in Toronto this winter. But, so there are enormous changes go on all the time. We're making a mess of things, right? 7 billion of us exhaling and driving cars and turning the lights on. That has a big impact. Naturally, it has to. But it doesn't break the world. It just changes it. And it's not the world that's broken. It's the cliff that we've kind of driven ourselves up to. If you live on the edge of a cliff, you got to ask yourself, how did that cliff get there? And the cliff probably is because the land fell away, right? And so people build a house on the edge of a cliff, and then they never want the cliff to move anymore. And we've sort of built a society right now that is at the edge of the cliff of the technology that built it. And we're going to have to move. We have to move where the weather supports life. If you're in a place where the sea level rises or the rain stops falling, and that's hugely impactful on humanity. But the world,
the Earth is
going to be fine. And it's
but humans are going to have to change. It's clear, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's dead clear.
Because they don't want to. Nobody wants to believe that.
If you just stay, I spent the winter in Toronto. If you spent the winter in Toronto or New York, it's hard to convince yourself of anything longer than a 1-year cycle, or maybe even a 2-year cycle. But when you look on a 50 or 100 or 1,000-year cycle, you get a real sense of the patterns and the changes, and that's one of the things we can see from space is the long-term changes.
One of the things you guys train for is you train for mistakes. Like you train for things to go wrong. It's like
that's what the book's about.
And you talked about the which one was it that came through recently? That the Columbia.
Yeah.
That went through the atmosphere. And I know
apart.
you knew. What was his name? Rick Husband.
Rick Husband and I went to test pilot school together. Rick and I sang together. He was a singing waiter, and that's how he put his way through Texas Tech as a singing waiter. Great guy, and he was the commander of Columbia, and it had a hole in the wing, and we kind of just hoped we didn't do our job right, and they came back into the atmosphere. That hole in the wing acted like a funnel, like a blowtorch. The heat of reentry melted the left wing off, and the vehicle came apart and killed all the people on board. And
so you guys saw that while it was still out there, and did you determine that we can't fix it, or
we did not know? We knew that a piece of the tank, the foam, had come off and bounced off the wing, but there was no way to actually look at the wing. We didn't have a robot arm on that flight, so we couldn't reach around and look. You couldn't see it from the windows. We tried to look with telescopes from the ground, but it's black on black. We couldn't see. So,
at some point, you just had
the only way we could have done it was to do a spacewalk and go out and look underneath the big radiator and see. And we decided. When I say we, I mean NASA. We said, now we think we're okay, and we were wrong, and we killed the crew. We learned a lot from that.
If you had done that spacewalk and seen that, is there a way to repair that at that height?
Now there is. At the time, we didn't really have a way to repair it. We would have scrambled everything. We would have put those guys into as hibernation a mode as we could, to minimum oxygen usage, try and get them to be able to stay up longer than a shuttle's ever stayed, and scramble to try and get another one launched. But then, of course, launching another shuttle, obviously, we don't have that system perfect.
Doubling the risk.
So,
you couldn't have got them to the space station, though?
No, they're in the wrong orbit for the space station. It's like a bicycle tire spinning one way and another one spinning another way. You can't get off one spinning tire and get on the other one.
Yeah.
They're in different orbits.
Oh.
And you can't.
Around the Earth.
And there's so much energy. The shuttle weighs 250,000 pounds, and it's going 5 miles a second. So you can't just turn.
Oh, see, I would have thought there was a way to adjust and get to,
No, that's the movie Gravity. In Gravity you can, but in reality...
Did you like when she did the fire extinguisher and shot over? I thought that was believable.
Yeah, that was delightful. But actually, the movie pleased a lot of people. It's not a documentary; it's a movie. Get over it. But it wasn't. It's not a place to understand orbital mechanics.
I'll never get over it.
Yes, that's all I think of. How her hair didn't go up in the air like it would have if she was floating. Did you notice that too? I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
What about life out there? You believe there's more than just us?
Yeah, people phrase it that way, right? Do you believe in aliens? Like it's a belief system or something.
Right.
I'm
like
always puzzled that people ask that. Do you believe in aliens? It's like, do you believe?
Because we don't have any proof. I guess.
Do you believe in addition?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in addition. 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
We have never seen any evidence of aliens.
Right.
So, however, then it's a matter of what are the odds? And we have recently started seeing planets around other stars, actually seeing planets around other stars using our best telescopes. So now we know roughly that every single star has a planet around it, on average, maybe more than one.
And there's like 12 stars.
Stars
right?
are bright enough that we can see them all. And our best guess is, I think the number is 7 septillion stars, which is like a billion, trillion, quadrillion, septillion. It's a bigger number than you could possibly visualize. So the odds are basically 7 septillion to 1 that we're not alone in the universe. But then again, the universe has been here 13.5 billion years. Yeah. Entire species have probably risen and fallen billions of times.
Yeah.
And we're one little speck in one little galaxy in amongst billions of galaxies. So,
do you think it's possible that there were people on Mars and that it cooked over
well, there's lots of pieces of Mars on Earth because when an asteroid crashed into Mars, it hit it so hard it knocked bits of Mars that then flew through space for a while and fell to Earth. And we've walked out on the ice in Antarctica where a little meteorite came down, bounced, rolled to a stop, and sat there on the ice waiting for us to go pick it up.
Wow.
And we've picked up pieces of Mars lying on the ice in Antarctica. So
do you think it's possible that people were on Mars and the planet was dying, so they all went onto the moon and used it as a spaceship to come here and it crashed into Earth?
I don't think that's possible.
No?
So you think Sidonia is just nonsense? All that face on Mars stuff is just a bunch of bunk. Forgive me.
There's lots. I mean, you can see faces in clouds. That doesn't mean that's.
I do that a lot.
Built
Actually,
by ancient civilizations.
It's very boyish of me.
There's a lot of that hopeful thinking.
Do you whistle while you're doing it?
Yes, I do, and I chew a piece of hay.
I like to think like Louis that we kind of planet jump.
Well, eventually we'll figure it out. But I think right now, we just put a little satellite in orbit around the biggest asteroid in the solar system. We think that asteroid may have more fresh water on it than Earth.
Really?
An asteroid.
How big is this asteroid?
It's
Can we go
almost
get it?
Moon-sized.
Can we go get it?
Getting it is a problem.
Yeah.
But
is it drinkable?
Well, it's buried underneath the surface, but. And we're looking at Enceladus, and just this week, which is one of the moons of Saturn, we can watch the geysers of water coming off Enceladus feeding the rings of Saturn. We just saw that and proved how that works this week. So it's a planet that has water and has heat and has had it, or a moon has had it for millions or billions of years. So maybe there's life on those moons too, and we don't know. And it's not intelligent life, but even if there's one little proto-microbial whatever, then we know. Then it answers your question.
Right.
Then we know we're not alone in the universe. Right, it's just a matter of looking hard.
Has that ever been part of what I mean? Some people are driven towards space by that curiosity.
That's what drives a lot of people is the curiosity. To me,
what made you go up there?
Killed the cat.
Is it because you like to fly and you like to go?
No. It's just the natural extension of exploration.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, have you spent your entire life in New York? I mean, sometimes you want to go somewhere else and see something else, and that idea of wanting to go explore is what has spread us over the whole surface of the world. And and we only been to Antarctica for 100 years because our technology wouldn't let us get there till 100 years ago, and we only started going to space 50 years ago because we're limited by technology. To me, it's just innate to every one of us, and technology is the limiter.
Yeah, it feels like a necessary part of being a person, right?
You learn to walk.
Isn't it because we were supposed to get out of here?
Well, you learn to walk before you have any common sense because you need exploration to understand. And it's just an extension of that. It's nothing magical.
How far back can I know they're going to set up another. They want to set up another telescope that they're going to have to try to see the beginning of time. How far back can Hubble actually see?
Actually, Hubble is what taught us the age of the universe. It's an old telescope now, right? It was designed in the 70s and 80s and launched in the early 90s, and we fixed it several times. But the big James Webb telescope that's going up in a couple of years, it'll be orders of magnitude. But Hubble, you can measure how fast the universe is expanding, and sort of like the Doppler shift when a train goes by, you can hear it different. Light does the same thing for a galaxy that's expanding. It changes the color, just like light changes or sound changes when a train goes by. That you get that out of light as well. It's called redshift. And so you can start to measure speeds of galaxies based on distance. And from that, you can start to see the further away they are, the older they are, the redshift is different.
Yeah,
you can
a lot
do the
of
math.
it is just math, right?
And from Hubble, we've shown how old the universe is, which is like 13.
But aren't they trying to see the beginning of like the bang? How close to seeing the bang or whatever it is?
Well, you're looking at echoes, right? Because obviously the bang sort of happened everywhere 13.5 billion years ago. And from Antarctica, because of it's sort of an undisturbed place to look at the universe, where we can see some of the earliest echoes of the first fractions of a second of the Big Bang with the background explorer. We're just starting to see some of that, and we're just idiots. We're just figuring this stuff out.
Isn't that kind of what Sometimes I think that's what the feeling is inside of people, like the sort of, there's always a desperate kind of scared feeling inside.
Yeah.
It's because we're still in the middle of an explosion. Like, isn't it just like there was this big boom and we're all flying. I mean, we're flying through space.
We're little bits of flotsam.
Gazillion miles per hour, and we're a little, like, it's scary, but we're in denial of it. But when you go, like, right before you go to sleep and you need to watch Family Guy so that you can not feel so bad, isn't it because we're going, like forever, in a way?
I don't know. It's just... You can get all worried about it, or you can recognize, just try and understand what's going on. Yeah. What worries me more is we can only account for 6% of the universe. We don't know what 94% of the universe is even made of. And we can do the math that shows it has to be made of something, but we only understand what we call matter, and our understanding of energy, which is we don't know what 94%, we call it dark matter and dark energy because we just had to make up a name. That's what they're looking for in that big particle accelerator under France and Switzerland, the big CERN particle accelerator and the Higgs boson and all that. We're trying to figure out what the universe is even made of. Yeah, it could be that
there's like people standing right here going, you guys are just look like looking at us and going,
we just
and we have no idea.
Know. And when someone makes up a word like dark matter and dark energy, they don't know either.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
They're just trying to explain it the best they can.
It's always disappointing when they say, like, we found a planet with waterfalls and dogs on it. And then you're like, oh my God. And then you read the story and they're like, well, they didn't see it. They saw a star wobble in a weird way, so they figured out with math that there's probably a planet there. And because of how far it away is from the star, it's probably got... But they can't see anything yet. We're still really blind.
We're just starting to be actually able to see light reflected from planets. Up until now, you're right. We've had to do it because of star wobble, or if it gets in between us and the star gets a little darker.
Right.
But now we're starting, our telescopes are getting good enough, and our math is good enough that we can start actually to see reflected light from other stars or from other planets. As soon as you see the reflected light, then by how the light's absorbed, you can figure out if it has water in it or whatever.
Some other thing
for me.
So. He has to get a tooth pulled.
Really?
Well,
What happened?
If I were you, I'd delay.
Did this blow your mind away?
You know what?
Your 141
He's
IQ?
He's upset. I insulted him.
Oh, no.
This is too smart for him and his tooth hurt.
First of all, it's just I'm sitting here.
What? This is fascinating. What's wrong with you? When's the next time you're going to get to talk to a
You're the only person that would run out of a spaceman talking to go get your tooth pulled. Yeah, tell the dentist you were talking to a man from space.
No, it's all right.
I'll do another 5.
So as part of astronaut training, we do medical preparation.
What's that?
And I can pull your tooth if you want.
You probably have to be able to do that, right? To your fellow
Have him pull your tooth. That's a story.
How could you not want to have your tooth
makes for good radio.
I'm sure he's not traveling with Novocaine in his pocket.
Well, are you?
On the spaceship, no.
Just a quick question. I mean, and this is probably kind of deep. You get a lot of pussy being an astronaut? I mean, how much pussy can you get being an astronaut?
So my brother and I wrote a song, and one of the lines in the song is, chicks don't come here as much as you think. It's kind of a lonely existence on a spaceship. It's kind of like a monastery up there. So
but I'm sure he's a married man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're married?
My wife and I have been together 40 years,
40? Wow, good for you. I want to ask about asteroids. Do we know where all the asteroids are?
We only know very
That's
few
what
of them.
scares the fuck out of me.
That's the one that you should be watching Family Guy for, I think. Because the Earth is covered in scars. It's been schmucked. And we get hit by 100 tons of meteorites a day.
A day
on Earth. Most of them are little. Once in a while, we have a big one, and most of them we can't see because they're like flat black coal colored, and they cross our orbit, so the sun is up. It's like trying to look into a bright light and see something that's dark. You just can't see it. So we haven't even detected most of the asteroids, and some of them are like a city killer, but some of them are a planet killer, and we just haven't seen them all.
That's what scares me.
We need to put a little work into
They basically say you take away like the trees and the buildings and all that, and Earth would look pretty much like the moon with all the strikes the moon has had.
What do you do? Just put up a big net? I mean, what would you do about it?
Because we have weather and we have continental drift. Most of our scars get healed.
You get rid of the oceans, you'll see a whole bunch of asteroid hits.
We'd look like the moon or Mars. So what do? First, you find one that you know 5 years from now is going to hit the Earth, and then you just need to make it just barely miss Earth. So there's a few guys have thought of different ways to make an asteroid change its path just tiny bit. You just need to
explosion, maybe
either an explosion, or you put a little thruster on it, or you have a spaceship that hovers next to it, and the gravity of the spaceship will slowly just yank it a tiny bit.
Who wants
but
that
isn't that
job?
only if it's a big? But if it's a big asteroid, though. What if it's like a big New Jersey-sized asteroid?
Yeah, well, you can only.
Then you get Governor Chris Christie up there.
Come on, Lou, that's impossible.
Orbit.
That guy, I'll tell you, he'll scare an asteroid to death. If you want to talk politics.
A lot of people, say that's what has destroyed the Earth numerous times.
We've been hit really badly before.
Civilizations, past civilizations.
Yeah, the one that hit off the Yucatan, that enveloped the whole world basically in fire. And
how long ago was that?
That was 170 years ago.
Oh, what? 100?
Well, that was like 90 million years ago. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. The one that hit up in Quebec, you can still see.
Fell off.
Yeah, was a couple $100 million years ago.
The one in what'd you say? The one in Quebec?
There's a huge one that you can see up in Quebec called the Manicouagan crater. That it's like 30 miles across or 40 miles across.
And that was an Earth killer.
Scares the heck out of me.
It was had
What's
a big
the most
impact
recent
on life.
one that was that bad?
Arizona?
Well, the one in Arizona is only 49,000 years ago, and that must have been a heck of a day. But it's only a mile across, that hole.
Wow.
The one in Tunguska was 100 years ago, and it flattened.
100 years ago?
100 years, 1903. It flattened trees for hundreds of miles.
That's 112 years ago.
Yeah.
And how big was that asteroid that did that?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Perhaps
like
a mini-
house size,
a
not
bus.
huge.
That's what I'm saying. It was only
But
the
it's
size
totally
of a house.
it's totally random.
Yeah.
We could go another 50 million years, or it could be tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Well, there's normally
If it was
a pretty
tomorrow, we would have
significant
seen
one.
something by now.
Every 1,000 years there's a pretty big one. There's a bunch of people working on it, and part of the problem is if you start to drag an asteroid so it's not going to hit, say, New Jersey, well, as you slowly pull it off the Earth's orbit, maybe it's going to hit instead L.A. or
Right.
it's going to hit Brazil or something. So the politics are complicated. Who decides and who spends the money? I'm not sure how we're going to do
That's why I live one day at a time.
That's a good idea.
You know what I mean?
That's because you're an alcoholic.
Well, that too.
That's got nothing to do with asteroids.
Yes, a struggling homosexual.
That's because you can't drink wine without ruining your life.
Yeah.
That's why. Asteroids got nothing to do with it. Well, it's your fucking Irish heritage or whatever is back
Jewish.
there. Same thing.
So they let you take your guitar up there?
No, we keep a guitar on a space station always.
Oh, really? What is it? What kind of guitar is it?
It's an acoustic guitar made by a company called Larry Vay. It's a Larry Vay parlor guitar, 6-string, pure acoustic, small body. It's a good guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been up
How
there
long
since
is-
September of 2001. We brought it up in a shuttle in September. It gets played pretty much every day up there. There's lots of guitar.
That's a famous
Wow.
guitar now, too.
Yeah, and I recorded a whole album up there, and it's actually in the studio now. It's getting released in August.
Oh, I didn't know you did
And by the
more.
way, the book, we have to promote your book. It's called An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, and it's really good.
It's in 20 languages, this book. And,
Wow.
Well, for me, English is the only one I
English
can
is
do,
good.
but it's really
But
great.
yeah, it just came out in paperback, and I'm really pleased with how the book's done.
Yes, I have a fanny pack, Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask the spaceman about being economical with your space. Am I correct?
Well, you don't
Thank you,
lose
sir.
your valuable stuff.
I like to travel with nothing in my pockets. I have a fanny pack. Yes, I do. Sure.
He's owning it. He's owning it.
This is the most shocked I've been all day.
On a space
With
station,
everything
there are
I've
fanny
learned,
packs, too,
even
'cause
the
pockets don't
asteroids?
work
Even the
without it.
asteroids.
Okay.
This is.
Well, men like Chris and myself understand a fanny pack's value.
Don't drag him into this.
Do you not wear fanny packs up there in the big abysses, I like to call it?
Yeah.
We need
Where no one can see them.
Because your pocket stuff falls out of it.
You
Zero
need zippered
G's.
pockets without gravity, otherwise stuff floats all over the place.
I happen to like the fanny pack.
in
and
there?
I'll tell you what's in there, Lou, without being you rifling through my fanny pack.
Really has a fanny.
I do my ticket. I have my
Is
shades.
that so you can wear?
I have my ID, my wallet.
You have any Novocaine?
And you have where's your dignity?
I happen to like a fanny pack. My masculinity is not defined by what I wear around my waist. It's defined by what I put in my mouth. And that's not good, Chris.
I think you're offering up a little too much info to our guests.
Is that so you can wear pervert
It's
sweatpants?
No, it's so I can travel
subway?
comfortably. It's like what I do is I pop this off, and I'll drop my fanny pack in the front of the seat, and I just doze right off.
This is the kind of moment where I'm getting old.
That Jimmy's got
Jim Norton's wearing.
Jim Norton,
You
wearing
need a fanny pack to tell you that?
I have been
Yeah,
wearing a
that's-
fanny pack. I used to carry one of those Merces, a man purse. That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm more bothered that you had enough time to do a whole album up there, Chris. I thought it was one
6
song.
months.
Every night before, actually, I wrote one song with my son. I wrote some of them. My brother wrote some myself. But I've been a musician my whole life, and so it's just
More
How many
covers?
hours do you sleep a night up there?
about 4 or 5.
4 or 5 hours?
Yeah.
You can't sleep more than that then, or what happens?
There's just too much stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I
really? Because you're
decided
that busy every
well,
day?
I didn't want to miss it.
Got songs
You wake up
to
and you're in
record.
space. You're like, I want to look out
Do you
the
get
window.
overtime?
Sleep later.
You work long
Do you-
hours up there. I thought I'd sleep when I get back.
Do you wake up and go, holy fuck, I'm in space? Like all of a sudden you forget for a second?
At first, yeah. It's
You do,
weird.
right?
It's weird. But after a while, you get completely used to being weightless. You don't even think about it anymore. You're like prehensile toes.
What's it like coming home? Is it heavy and weird?
Yeah, it's
When gravity comes
it's kind
back?
of rude coming back. Really
Sure. Yeah.
unfair, and you can't balance, and your heart's forgotten how to pump the blood up to your head, so you faint when you stand up.
Oh,
and,
my God.
And you just want to throw up all the time, and you've lost a bunch of your skeleton, so you have to grow your skeleton back when you get back.
From
God.
outer space.
How do you grow your skeleton back?
Automatically, which is the amazing thing. Your body shed your skeleton, especially across your hips when you're up there. But when you come back, your body grows your bone back. Which
I could lose a little around my head.
Oh, come on, Lou. What are you going to do?
studying
Go around the earth?
osteoporosis.
You think from up there they could see on Friday and Saturday Harrisburg, the Comedy Zone?
Yeah, is
from outer space?
it possible to see
Harrisburg,
people
yes.
fleeing a city?
You can see the taillights from up
So
there.
from watching your guys' skeletons grow back, they've learned about osteoporosis.
Yeah,
and how to-
understand the body's
Yeah.
autonomic control.
Hope the skeleton in the closet don't come back, though. Am I right or wrong? Who
Are
doesn't
you
have a few of those?
are you done or you get to go up there
I was
again?
21 years in the NASA astronaut office. I retired from that. 20. I mean, Neil Armstrong was an astronaut for 8 years. You know,
Yeah.
he did all that
He's
stuff for 8
lazy.
years. I was 21 years, and it's a hard medical to pass after when you get in your mid 50s. It's hard to.
Well, all the recovery
that
from
physical.
doing it, and then
And each flight is a 4-year or 5-year investment of your life too. So I was lucky enough to fly 3 times. I'm retired now. That's why I wrote a book.
Great. Let's get the plug-in for the
Amazing.
book.
Yes, let's plug the book, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. I have not read all of it, but what I've read is excellent. I got to like chapter 5.
It's a New York Times bestseller.
Great
You know,
book,
some
man.
people have amazing experiences, and they're boring to talk to. And you're not one of those guys. You seem to really appreciate what happened to you.
Yeah,
I really do.
There are guys who you meet, guys like, wow, you were at you hit the World Series winning, and he's like, yeah.
Yes, I
But yeah, they sent the right guy because you took it in.
You might make it on one of Louis' lists, like amazing astronauts to look
On a
at.
Louis
right?
list.
That's right.
All right.
That's
And
right.
also, let's plug everybody. Louis got season 5 starting.
Yeah.
When it started already, and
It's every Thursday at 10.
every Thursday at 10:30.
It's a great season for real, man. It's a little dark, funny.
show.
I love it.
Chris is going to be in Harrisburg Friday,
and,
Saturday.
And don't forget on Netflix, Women Aren't Funny.
And I have tickets on sale today, 10 a.m. In Minneapolis. I'm going to be September 25th at Mill City Nights. It's a rock club, and I will be there. Tickets are on sale now.
All right.
So I'm leaving for LA, and thank you guys.
Cool. Nice to talk with all of you.
You guys, brilliant.
And
Thank you for sharing all that.
Thanks.
thanks to Louis C.K. and Rich
Good luck
Vos.
with the tooth pull.
Yeah, I guess we're done. All right. See you tomorrow.
Today's show